All right, people, welcome to another Paranormal Highway. We got a special guest. The person name's Matt. Paranormal. Hold on. Sorry. Paranormal Consultant. So we're gonna have a fun time. Like, what is a paranormal consultant? Is it a name? Is it the word consultant? Is it a person who helps investigations? The answer is I don't know. That's the most beautiful thing about the show today, people. We're gonna learn. Love having new people on the channel. Love to see on, why did they get into investigations? What have they seen? What did they do? What have they learned? Because the goal is to better ourselves. So when we go out doing our own investigations, you might learn something. You might learn something from different people. So today's a special show because this is first time ever. Matt from Paranormal Consultant is about to come on. I don't know why I'm pausing. I must be drinking too much coffee. So, all right. Now, remember, after the intro, what I always tell you guys during the intro, find yourself a mirror in the bathroom, say Bloody Mary 3 times, and come back and tell me what happens. All right. I'll see you guys after the intro.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass. Did you see it?
I don't even know. Okay, it's working. All right. I don't think my intros. Guys, I've been having problems today with my thing. Let me try my intro one more time, see if it works. I don't know what's going on, but I'm having problems with this browser before the show even started. Let me see if I do it again.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass. Did you see it?
I love that.
All right. You know what's weird, people? What's going on is when I'm playing the intro, I don't see it on my StreamYard screen. I see it on my other screen. So that's why I didn't know if my intro was playing or not. But when I look over to my other screen, it's playing. So there's some paranormal stuff going on already, Matt.
Always.
You're bringing the paranormal already. Are you sending ghosts over the internet somehow to, like, I don't know, mess the stream up?
Even with my shows, and I told you backstage, I work with a lot of different people. We've always said there's always something that happens. Always. When you start talking paranormal, there's something that will always happen.
Isn't it? One of the things for us, anytime we talk Matrix, it always seems like when we get on a Matrix subject, things just go crazy. I don't know what it is, electricity or somehow things freeze. I get kicked out. So it is what it is. So how's it going, Matt?
Good now. That was a hell of an intro. I love that video. But it's going. I like I was telling you, dealing with some things, medical issues, stuff like that. But I'm coming back, and I feel good. Feel real good.
Well, you came to the perfect show because everybody knows that that I go through some medical things here and there, and sometimes part of my medical thing that I do with the VA is they track my walking because they want to test my leg out. So a lot of times I walk this trail, and when I be walking this trail, I'm actually doing it live. So a lot of my people from the chat, they follow me on this trail walk, and it's for the doctor. So we all know about medical stuff. But I guess the first step we're going to ask is like, of course, we know my channel is Paranormal Highway. You're called Paranormal Consultant. Now, when I hear the word consultant, Is that just like a name for your channel, or are you a consultant for other like investigators or something? When I hear that word consultant.
So I guess to properly describe it, I have to start with I've actually been in the paranormal field almost 20 years now. I've ran a couple different teams, and I think we all know some of the downside to the community. There's a lot of ego, a lot of, I want to be the next big thing,
No,
all that
there's
BS.
no ego.
Oh no, never. But the last team I had, we started seeing some of that toxic behavior. So I said I was done. I just shut it down. And my wife and I were talking the one night, and I said, I really miss the field. I miss being in the field. I want to be able to help everybody. I really want to be a part of the community still, but I don't want to deal with the crap. And she goes, "What, like a consultant?" And I said, "A paranormal consultant." I was like, I really like that. I love that ring to it. So the consultancy, what it basically is I help teams, groups, networks, really anybody, enthusiast in the paranormal, learn about the field, share my experiences, share my thoughts, and just have people there or have somebody there to help. I feel like it's there, but people are afraid. People are afraid to reach out and try to network because of the BS. And I just wanted to do something to help everybody.
What's cool about that is like for myself. Sometimes, some people can be afraid, but sometimes I feel it's not really afraid, but it's who's willing to ask questions for you. Like if I'm going on a paranormal place and I want to, have some questions. Like you said, there's some people that have egos and they don't want to help you because it's like they believe that the Holy Grail is through them. So there's a lot of people that don't help you,
Yep.
So it's more of like it's not really afraid, but who can you ask? Who can
Yep.
you talk to? Luckily with like the great people in my chat, I've met a lot of great mediums, people that have more gifts than I can that I can go to and ask questions like, what would you do here? Or what do you feel? But there's a lot of places that, like you said, people don't care to talk to you.
Yep.
I don't know if they're afraid or like, why do I want to answer questions to you? Like, do I gotta be a Zach from Ghost Adventures or Ghost Hunters? You know what I mean? Like, I don't get it. I believe everybody should help each other out. Beginning of the show, I said that the best thing about having new people on to learn new stuff, like what do they try? What do they do? So you can take a little bit from everybody. Last week I had three ladies, I should say ladies, three ladies on. And like they're talking about they do a class, to learn on to have gifts, like be a medium and all that. And I always said the biggest problem that I always have, and I don't know if it's due to my PTSD, is it's hard for me to meditate. It's hard for me to clear my head out. And she's like, well, you got to take baby steps, every month, every day, try to do, 2 minutes at the most, grow your muscle. So, all great tips because,
100%.
I don't know if you have gifts or not. I don't have like the gifts they do, and I want to learn it too. And the hardest thing for me is to clear my head. Like you've been in the military yourself, you're in the Navy, and sometimes, depending on how your military experience was, it's not easy to clear your head.
No, and I don't, sadly. The only thing I'm really sensitive to is the EMF field. Like I'm very sensitive to that. But I never claim and I never believe that I really have any abilities or gifts, sadly. But you're absolutely right. It's tough. It's very tough to take that time and to recenter yourself. But just like with a lot of other things, you just have to. You absolutely have to.
You do. And sometimes you can't wait for others. Like I called so many paranormal groups because I live in, Seattle, Washington area.
Mm.
And there are paranormal groups up here, but I always call like, hey, I'm Eric from Paranormal Highway. I want to go along with one of you guys on one of your investigations,
Mhm.
and I always no, we're already full. Everybody's like no, 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 no. Everybody's no. I mean, I haven't had one group. So it's like, my brother comes out, we go out. I try to bring other people on, but I don't know. I don't know if it's just Seattle area. I don't know if this is normal for all the areas, but every group that I have called in Seattle has basically told me no in some kind of a nice way, and
See,
or some of them say, "Well, you're too rowdy." What do you mean rowdy? I'm not that rowdy. What? Because I wear a cowboy hat? I go. It's like a Superman cape for me. It's part of the show.
I'm from Central Pennsylvania, and I know exactly what you're talking about. And that was one thing that one reason why the Paranormal Consultant was started, because I want to network. I want to find out what other teams are doing. Maybe they know something I don't. I want to learn, or maybe I can help them. But it's very territorial. Like, there's a lot of teams out here, but they just don't want to share or network. So, that's one reason why I started this up. It's like, look, I'm not after your territory. If you think there's territory, I'm after the truth. I'm after, helping people, helping teams, helping group, helping anybody, and it's like, get over yourself. It's, again, that ego.
Yeah, some some people, whatever you try to do, they, you just can't get through that ego. That's kind of cool that you're in the Pennsylvania area. The group that I had on last Thursday is called Full Moon Paranormal, and they're from New York
Oh, okay.
and all that, and I know Pennsylvania not like super well. I'm on the West Coast, but I used to live Frederick, Maryland, for a
Oh, okay.
job, and I lived outside of Gettysburg. Gettysburg was just 10-15 minutes away, and I always
Yep.
went to Gettysburg because my wife's family does live in New York. We talked about last week, like I have my wife's grandma owns a house that has a graveyard on her property. We were talking about how it's kind of cool that back east that some properties they actually own a graveyard. It's so weird to me, like, so you own that graveyard. So what would happen if you dig up the bodies there? I mean, are you allowed to, since it's your graveyard? I mean, she won't. The grandma won't. But I'm always curious, like, what are the laws? Can you do that if it's a graveyard's on your own property?
I would assume that you'd have to get some kind of permit or permission to do stuff like that, and I have a feeling that'd be a huge hassle. But me personally, I'd say screw it, leave them, leave the bodies.
Here's a good friend of mine, Duke. He's World Bigfoot Central up in Montana area. Same thing with me. The local BF researchers, at first they shunned me. Now they are too embarrassed to work with me. and I know, right? It's sometimes like if you're here and he's got a really top show on YouTube. He's got one of the best Bigfoot channels out there.
Check
and
them out.
now you're here. Now that they're too embarrassed. I can see that. But even Duke, if you're a Bigfoot searcher, Duke's that kind of guy that would help you. He would answer questions for you, but it's I don't know what it is. But since you got into the paranormal, is it mainly just paranormal, or do you look into UFOs and the Bigfoot, the three main ones?
Well, paranormal to me is anything outside of normality. You walk down the street and ET asks you for a light. That's not normal.
Paranormal means everything, basically.
Everything, yeah. So, I mean, my main focus is the paranormal, spirits, stuff like that. But I do have an interest in Bigfoot and cryptids and stuff like that. And so does my wife. So, I'm all about it. If someone wants to go out on a Bigfoot excursion, let's go. Someone wants to go look at the stars, let's go.
Right there. Duke says, I help people and promote other research constantly. I want people to work together. Yeah. He came on my channel. Yeah. I went to his channel, because, I had a Bigfoot sighting when I was 11 years old. Bigfoot, UFOs, I talk it all, but I always said that I'm always intrigued with the spirit side just because I love Bigfoot, but I don't need to prove that he's real because I already seen him once. He's real.
Mhm.
Bigfoot is more like he's either real or he's not, human or not. Aliens, they're either real or they're not. Now, we're not the only planet with lives. We know that.
Of course.
But have they come here? If they do come here, are they real or not? But spirits is different because spirits is once alive. And then
Mhm.
how are they still here? Is it the energy just doesn't go somewhere? Are they supposed to go somewhere? You know what I mean? They're
100%.
just rabbit hole that like people say, well, some of them are they just do the same thing every day. Okay. Then why are they doing the same thing every day? How is that possible? I mean, it's kind of like, well, your energy has to do something then once you pass away, right?
Yep.
So, like, what does it do? There's such a different kind of a mystery versus aliens or Bigfoot being real or not. This is like how, if we are ghosts, how can that happen? And does that answer the question that there is something after death?
Well, I mean, I've said this before. Us as paranormal investigators, we know that answer. The big question's always been growing up: is there life after death? Well, obviously. Otherwise, what are we investigating? Who are we talking to when we go out to these locations? The question we need to figure out is what happens after death.
Yes.
Because energy cannot be destroyed. That is a scientific fact. So my thought process, and this goes back to working together, is that answer is a big jigsaw puzzle. And it's going to take each and every one of us to fit that puzzle piece together. Because obviously there's some things that work for, like, say for you, Eric, things will work for you in the field that may not work for me, and vice versa. So, it's going to take all of us. And I think we can use that thought process for the cryptid side of it too. Bigfoot, aliens, all of it. It's going to take all of us.
This is like an inside joke here. Danny Statton from South Carolina says the difference between me and Eric, he grabbed a fork and chased it. Oh my God, I pissed myself and ran away. But he was talking about when we were 11 and we were camping. Everybody knows, most everybody in the chat knows the story that there was over 11 of us, and we saw this Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the youngest. Me and my cousin were the youngest. I have bigger brothers. I was 11. They were like 14, 15. And of course, like stupid young kids, they weren't scared of it. And I tell people all the time, the reason we weren't scared of it because we grew up with our father, uncles, and aunts telling us that Bigfoot was real.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have internet. Like people believe, like, well, how's that possible, Eric? Well, people believe that Santa Claus was real.
Yeah.
So when we saw Bigfoot, it wasn't like, hey, he is real. Because it's not like you see a bear every day in the woods if you go out looking. So they got their weapons, and only thing I had was a fork. So I ran out there with a fork in my hand. So,
I'd be right behind you. I'm one of those guys to where there's not really any place that scares me. Like I investigated Penhurst last year with my wife and a whole group, and I see a dark corner somewhere. I see something that nobody wants to go to. Let's go. Something happens. That's good evidence. Fuck it. Let's have some fun. With
Matt,
it.
that is so awesome because we go camping all the time. My wife goes like, Eric, how come you're not scared? It's pitch dark. What's going to happen? Something's going to tap me. If something's going to hurt me, they're going to hurt me.
Yeah.
It's a wrong kind of attitude to have, I guess, but but you're right. It's like, what is there to be afraid of? Was this a poor Bigfoot thought Eric was going to eat him?
Just you grab the fork, Eric. I'll grab ketchup. Let's go.
The thing is, when you're people don't understand, when you're at the moment of something happens, you're not thinking exactly what you're going to grab. You just grab whatever's next to you. You just go because it's live. It's you don't have. It's kind of like when you hear football players talk about during the football game that you don't got seconds. You got less than a second to make a decision. And a lot of times when you're in front of a Bigfoot, maybe even aliens or paranormal, that your brain's going right there thinking. And then of course later on you're like, oh, I should have done that differently. I should have done that differently.
Hindsight's a bitch. gotten me in a lot of trouble. But no, I agree, and that's how I am on investigations. It's react. I tell people, don't, like, that's one thing that I teach like new investigators is react to the situation. Don't think about it. Once you start thinking, you're already second guessing yourself. Just react to it.
Well, we when we go out, we have a simple kind of a pattern. We don't, especially when my brother comes out, we don't go out with a lot of equipment. We have of course, we have our EMP detector, and we have our little digital voice recorder. We have our cameras and all that. Everything else, I don't have all those wonderful toys you see on Ghost Adventures. It's just basically us. Some of that stuff's on our channel, just us going out there, just ourselves, because it's more of feeling it.
Yeah.
It's I always feel, I could be wrong about this, that I always kind of have not a rule, but if I can, I always like to go out maybe 3 people or less. Me and my brother, we will be the ones that be investigating. So we have 2 eyes on everything, and maybe a person holding the camera. Because I feel that sometimes if you have too many people, I don't know if you experience this, that I would think that a spirit and ghost don't want to hang out when there's too many people. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's different for every place you go to, but I always feel you might get better results if you have less people, because maybe some of the ghosts that are there are not intimidated if they have intimidation feelings.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think it also depends to the spirit themselves too, because look at people in general. There's some people who like big crowds. They like being, in the center of attention.
They are.
I love the parties.
They are.
And there's some introverts. There's people who just want a one-on-one conversation. So, when you go out, it's good to have a small group, but it's also good to have, a little bit of a bigger group. It just depends. Like you said, it's on location dependent.
You're right. And it depends how big the place is. Can you have like 2-3 solid teams go different directions? I mean, everything depends on where you go. And I always feel people like, well, what place you like to hunt? I always say that, I believe that almost everywhere you go, no matter what, every house has some kind of a spirit. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to see them, because not all spirits have the energy to be shown, or maybe they don't want to be shown. But almost every place, not technically haunted where they're scary, but there is some kind of a spirit that's all around us everywhere on this planet. Because you think about the amount of people that have died on this planet, they're not all stuck. Maybe some are stuck, and that's the reason why we're investigating and finding out why they're stuck. But I always feel they are there. It just, you can't see most of them. Only, and sometimes you do hear them, but you're just not really listening for them. I had a paranormal medium since I was telling, I've been going on a lot of investigations. I was telling her that, like, the last 9 investigations I went on, I felt nothing was haunted. I didn't hear nothing. She goes, well, sometimes they are there, but are you truly listening to everything? Sometimes they are doing signs, but like human, you just missed it.
Yeah.
And I can see that.
Well, and one thing I love about our field is, and I think it can tie into the cryptid side of it too, is everything's theory. Like, we have lots of theories in the communities, and who's to say who's right and who's wrong? It might even be a multiverse thing. It might be these spirits we are talking to. It's not actually spirits. They're from another verse. It's part of another multiverse that's just a little bit thinner than, or closer to our reality. There's a bunch of different things, but again, it's just, to me, it's up to the spirits, and it's, again, using our gifts, our abilities, our techniques, and working together to figure out that answer on exactly what's going on. Will we ever figure it out? Who knows? Will it be anytime soon? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. But it's still fun. It's still fun, and we don't know. We don't know.
That's the thing. You do it because you love it. I just love it. I love going out there and investigating and listening.
Yeah.
I don't always have to capture something. Like, for example, I know last week one of the girls talked about like the Queen Mary ship. And I said, oh, I got 2 videos with me being on the Queen Mary ship for 2 days. And I told them I was on the ship for 2 days and I caught 0.
Yeah.
I told my car 0. Now, it doesn't mean it's not haunted. For me at that time, it wasn't haunted. But we also talked about, a lot of times we all go on investigations that you do get 0.
Yeah.
You don't go catch something on every single time you go out. I mean, if you do, you're one lucky motherfucker. I tell you that. I mean, you must be a ghost whisperer because you don't catch something every time.
No, and it might even be that their time is different. Time is relevant. That's been proven. So maybe they're not around. They're just, sleeping or doing whatever spirits do, or they just may not even want to talk to you. These spirits have different personalities. Like there's some who just maybe don't like you just from the way you look, or, I mean, we were even talking before about, asking these questions. Think about it. You go to these places like the Queen Mary or Penhurst or any of these places, they hear the same shit all the time, and to me, if I'm a spirit haunting somewhere, especially like an infamous place, I'm not going to sit there and answer the same question 50 million times. Who are you? What's your name? Dude, screw that.
Are you
I'm
male
gonna
or
ask,
female?
yeah, I'm gonna ask the weird questions. I want them to come hang out with me. And I think one thing I've adapted is that's what I do. When I go out and I investigate, I want the spirits to hang out with me. I'm not going to sit there and give them an interview or, an interrogation. I just want to know who I'm talking with and just hang out with them.
Matt, I'm so glad you said that because I got a complaint. My brother and I went to this place called the Black Diamond. It's Black Diamond Cemetery. It's supposed to be one of the most haunted cemeteries in the state of Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And we go there. My brother had a bag and he had beer in his bag. So we're walking around the cemetery. He pulls out a beer, and somebody put in the comments like, "You're not real investigators. What are you doing with the beer?" I'm like, "We're just trying to be ourselves," because I feel that they know when you're a phony. Like you said, showing them that you're real people. Because maybe, just maybe, that beer he opened up, a ghost. Maybe he was a beer drinker, and like it remembers something. So it's like. You try to be yourself, but people have this expectations on how you're supposed to be an investigator. Like you're supposed to be a tie, straight,
Screw that noise.
Be yourself.
I'd be out of the field. I'd be out of the field if we had to wear ties to an investigation. Screw that.
And I think one of the gifts that you and I both have is you're being the Navy and the Coast Guard. We're on ships. So one of the things like I always mark off when I was on Queen Mary, like I can see where people think this sound is a ghost. Because a lot of people are not used to being on ships. They're not used to those sounds, And one of the lucky things is I used to be in the cable business for 15 years where I went to people's houses, drill holes and all that. So I've been so many new houses, old houses, and I know how houses like sounds and all that. So I can see where people are mistaken sounds for ghosts and not really understanding their surroundings. A lot of people think they're in new houses that it's all crack free when they walking on wood and all that, and it's not true. There's even new houses make certain sounds, and and it's not being a skeptic, but it is dissecting on try to like, okay, this is from that, so we got to scratch that. And I always believe that when you do that, whatever you're left with, that's what you're studying. That's what's
you're being realistic. You're being an investigator and debunking. That's part of the job. I mean, I have an electrical background, and I was on the USS North Carolina doing an investigation, and you have to know your environment. That's why doing a proper walkthrough before an investigation is key. That is one of the most important things. Get to know the home, get to know the business or your location. What are the normal sounds? What are even a cemetery? Are there homes nearby? Do these homes have dogs? Do they have kids? Is there a highway nearby? And you get to know your location, and even being, like you said, a creek and a floorboard. Doesn't matter if it's a new home or old home. Obviously, the house is going to settle. There's going to be some kind of movement in the structure, and try to recreate it. Debunk.
And that's you said it perfectly. That's the most important part. Do your research before you even before you go. Like, find out, was there deaths here? Did something happen? Tragedy here? Look at everything, and then before my brother came down, we went to Back Diamond. I went there a couple days before during the day, so I know everything what it looks like during the day.
Mhm.
Behind it, the how many houses, how close they are, and then when we go at night, I can say, well, my brother's like, hey, you see that light over there? Oh yeah, there's a house over there.
Yep.
And that, and you mark it off. That's why you go look for it, and then just going there from scratch, not knowing, is that an orb or is that a light? We didn't have to guess on that part.
Mhm.
It's the
Yeah,
most
and
awesome. It's the most awesome thing to do. But I still remember we were walking. We were walking down Black Diamond, and it was is a lot of graveyards in Washington. You're not allowed to be there after daylight.
Mhm.
So I parked my vehicle all the way in the back and kind of hit it. And there's a lady that walked into the graveyard, and she was a nice lady. She was like trying to throw us out or nothing. She goes, "Guys, got to be careful." I'm like, we're not supposed to be here. Over in that corner over there, where your car doors open, there's bears that actually come in here. You're like, oh shit.
whoops.
I remember, like my brother, he was like, okay, well, if we die in the car, we know it's from bears. It's not a ghost.
Right? Yeah. No, for me personally, if I do a client investigation or, wherever, I drive around. I drive around the block. I drive around the area. I just check things out. That's even before I even show up to the site. And then once I get there, I'm just wandering around. And, I think it's an important step that a lot of people forget. Like, especially anybody who does home investigations, they're just focused on the house itself. They're not looking into the neighbors, what's the next street over, what's around the area. And it's important to me. It's important to find all that out.
It really is. It was kind of funny. We were in New York, and my wife's grandma's house. We were talking to her and about the graveyard. Do you hear voices at night? And she actually was telling us, yeah, I actually do hear some voices at night. Like, oh, this is getting pretty good. And here's my
Mhm.
son. My son's like pure science and stuff. It's like, well, do you have septic? Do you have a not a septic tank? Do you have natural gas coming to your house? So he's like,
Mhm.
yeah. Well, natural gas carry voices. You got houses there. You got houses there, and believe it or not, you know, my
Mhm.
son was like dissecting the whole thing, and I'm like, she's old. Let her. Don't debunk her.
Mm.
Don't debunk your own grandma.
I see. I will. I mean, I'm right there with your son. Like, I'll tell the truth,
Yeah.
and a lot of people forget about EMF poisoning. The different symptoms that you can get from an overexposure of
Yes.
EMF, and this one kid, he kept saying that, he kept getting headaches and he kept feeling nauseous, and somebody was in his closet, he kept getting that feeling and stuff like that. Come to find out, the main for the power was right there, right by his bedroom window.
Mhm.
And that whole bedroom was full of EMF. And I told him, I said, you need
100%.
more bedrooms.
Especially older houses. There's so many there, most of the power plugs in old houses are not grounded.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. They're two plugs. And what I mean, it doesn't have to be grounded, but it just tells you right there it's old
Yeah.
wiring,
Yep.
leaks, electricity, and you can feel enough where you can get sick from it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. People don't, a lot of people, and I'm not saying in our field, but the general populace, they don't understand what the EMF field can actually do to people. Like, a prolonged exposure can do some real damage, physically, mentally, emotionally, and a lot of it. And is it paranormal? No, but that's something that we deal with. We need to be the ones to sit there and be that voice of reason, and be like, you need to upgrade your electrical. Aunt Sally isn't here haunting you. It's the fact that you are getting poisoned by the electromagnetic field. I can guarantee you get an electrical upgrade, you'll feel better.
Now, have you gone on some like investigations and you got to a point on one of them where you're determining that I don't know if this is a ghost. This could be more demon, a non-human entity. Have you ever run into situations like that?
I I've had in my 18 years now. I want to make this clear because a lot of people they hear about demonics and stuff like that and they get really scared. I've done over 400 homes and businesses as clients in my almost 20 years. I've ran into 3 that I would classify as demonic, 2 100%, 1 maybe. It was like poltergeist, maybe demonic. And the 2 that I dealt with were probably the absolute worst thing I've ever dealt with in my life. I turned it over to the church. I backed my team out. There was no way in hell I was going to bring anybody back into that.
And people in the chat, if you remember last Thursday, the group from Full Moon Paranormal, they also said that it's more rare that they seen one, kind of like what you're saying. You maybe had 2 or 3 after a hunch. So I like that when people are saying kind of like the same answer in a way, because it makes it more true that it's very rare. Now, I told this to Full Moon Paranormal, and I'm going to tell you that I had a friend. His name is Clowns. He calls himself Clowns, and he used to have a show every week. Then he kind of nobody knows where he is now. He like just disappeared off this planet. And he used to call himself he said he hunts demons. He doesn't care for ghosts. He goes all abandoned church and he hunts demons. And this is what he told me. And Matt, I don't know if this is true or not. He goes, the best tool that I have to fight demons is not holy water, not the garlic, it's none of the vampire stuff. He goes, peanut butter. And I'm dead serious. And every investigator to come up, I always ask him, have you ever heard that peanut butter can help you fight against demons? He said that demons hate peanut butter. So my brother, on every investigation, he carries a small jar of peanut butter because he's like, what the hell? What the hell I got to lose? If there's a demon here, I'll try the peanut butter. But have you ever heard that peanut butter, demons don't like peanut butter?
Is this that question you were saying backstage?
Yes.
Okay. I was gonna say if there's another question that tops this one, I'm impressed. No, actually, I've never heard that. And I mean, I've heard there are some things to deter demonics, but peanut butter is a new one on me.
Yeah, and he does go on investigations. He does live investigations on his when he had his channel going. He drives his van around the United States, going different places. So it's just not like somebody just said, "I use peanut butter." But this guy really did have hundreds of thousands of investigations, but he always has peanut butter. He said it does help him when he gets scratches. And like, I love this. I love this.
I gotta look into that.
I love peanut butter too. Bigfoot loves peanut butter. Maybe they use it to repel demons too, or could it just be it's yummy? I've heard people putting out peanut butter for Bigfoot.
Now that I've heard
maybe
that
there is something to it.
I mean, I've heard about peanut butter and other food being used for cryptids, and Bigfoot, but that's a new one. That is a new one. I'm going to do some research on that now. I've got a month off of work for the medical leave, so I'm going to look into this.
Do it. Like I said, when they told me that, hey, my brother's like, hey, why be sorry? I'm going to go out. I'm going to have a little peanut butter just in case something, crazy. But unfortunately, we haven't been into any situations where we were guessing if it was a demon or not. Mm-hmm. And then even if you're fronted by a spirit ghost or a so-called demon, it's like, how do you even really know? Like, could it be just a pissed off spirit pretending to be a demon and not a ghost? You know what I mean? It's like, it's 100%. Not like it's science, it's built in.
Well, the one thing I've noticed, and I think this is pretty common throughout the whole field, is out of the did the peanut butter.
It disappeared.
Really, I'm going to start carrying peanut butter and jellies with me when I go investigating. If I don't find a demon, I'm just going to eat it because peanut butter and jelly is freaking
Hey,
good.
you got something to eat if you're hungry.
Heck yeah.
Right?
Almost every client, I would probably say about 95% of my clients report demonics. They say, I have a demon in my house. No. And I think we've all ran into that. I will tell you right now, and this is just my experience. So if anybody gets upset with me, I'm sorry, but this is my experience. When you run into that, when you run into an actual true demonic, right away. There is no question in your mind. And there are different stipulations and there's different things to look for. Obviously, like, it's not going to be a quick process. A demonic doesn't just show up one day and it's like, you have a good house, nice feeling house, and you wake up the next morning and there's a demon there. No, this takes time. Demonics infest. It's like an insect infestation in your home. It takes time, and you have to know what to look for. And as an investigator, when you walk into that location, you'll know right away. It is a unique feeling that just hits the pit of your being, like and I mean, I told you, Eric, I'm not one of those to shy away from locations.
But what's intriguing, I think it is intriguing about a demon, just because, listen, I told everybody, I have a grandpa who was a minister, but I was never a religious kid. I don't read the Bible. So I'm not going to sit here and say I believe in heaven or hell. Not saying they don't exist, but, I'm not saying so people, please take out the religion part out of this. But what's fascinating about a demon is ghost of spirit. It's kind of easy. It comes from a soul, from a person who passed away, their energy.
Mm-hmm.
But what can create something like a soul and be evil? Like, is there a heaven and hell? What created this energy that was never there before? You know what I mean? I mean, that itself is so intriguing. Like how does something like that happen? So is there a heaven and hell? You know what I mean? There's so many answers within a demon itself. Now, I'm not saying go out trying to find a demon just to find that answer, because like you said, demons possession, that's a real thing. That could kill you.
Yeah.
But it is intriguing to know how of that kind of a spirit can even exist. What can make that?
Well,
is it a falling angel?
Well, here's the thing, and I don't want to get really. I was thinking more Jack Link's, but that's just me. I watch too much TV. If you know, you know. You remember the Bigfoot commercials for Jack Link's?
Oh, yeah. The jerky.
I would do that.
Fun. There's a commercial. There's a trailer of a Bigfoot not documentary, a movie coming out called Sasquatch. I think Sasquatch Sunset. It's one of those like Earth type of movies where it's about a Sasquatch family. It's coming out, like, it's going to be on the movie theaters for like one day on the 19th. I'm like, oh man, I gotta go watch that Sasquatch Sunset. So people, check out the trailer. There's actually a movie about a Sasquatch family going across the mountains. Sorry.
No, you're good. No, you don't need to apologize. This is your show. But no, I know, Eric, you said you really didn't want to get into, religion. But I'm actually an ordained minister.
No, I'll get into religion. I'm just telling people I'm coming from an angle that I'm not fully religious. Not saying it's real or fake. I don't know.
So I'm actually an ordained minister. The paranormal led me to get my ordainment. But one thing that I've noticed, and I don't know if anybody else has realized this, but if you actually do your research, all the religions are tied in. Every single one of them. They all have some similarities, if not a lot of similarities. And it's just opening your mind. Again, as far as the whole heaven and hell thing, you could look at it as, like, I have a theory that, just a short version, that heaven and hell is basically reincarnation. So if you are bad, you get reincarnated. This plane of existence, what we are living in right now, is hell. This is absolute hell. To me, what would be more tormenting is to keep living your life over and over and over and over and getting reincarnated, losing friends, family, loved ones, things you care about, keep forgetting about it. And you get these premonitions or past life experiences that remind you of this. You can't move on to that next level. To me, that is unending torment. If you go to heaven or a heaven-like existence, you move on to a next verse, a next reality. You get upgraded, so to speak. It's a variety of different things. Demonics, from my research, from what I understand, they are inhuman. They are not human. We living people, whatever humanoids, we will never be demons. We will never be demonics. We will never be angelics. We will be who we are. It's just the next level of existence. So a demon to me is something that was created, and it could be a multitude of different things. I mean, there's a reason why.
Some people believe falling angel. Some people believe.
Well, it even could be something as addiction. That's why they call it. You deal with your demons when you're in recovery. They say deal with your demons. You're getting over your demons. Well, to me, that's addiction. That's addiction. That's something that is tearing you down. That is what demons do. They tear you down. They break you. They break your family. That to me is addiction. It's a matter of Grasshopper said. It's perspective. And it's the same way. It's the same way with demonics.
See, that's why I said I love investigating the paranormal side of the world, because again, Bigfoot's either real or it's not. Aliens real or not, but things behind the spirit world, there's so much there to learn, Like again, I'm not saying there's no heaven and hell. I don't know. There's no, it's not like I could open the door and there's heaven and there's hell. Everything is belief system, perspective, and all that. And that's the thing we're trying to discover with these ghosts, even demons. Like, what is out there?
Yeah.
It's like the most scariest question in the world. Is there life after death? The most scariest questions, because sometimes you might not want to know the answer, right? And thing is, but I always tell, because I had one group says, Eric, I don't think you might want to know the answer to that. Yeah, but how can someone even answer that question? Because to know if there's life after death, you'll have to probably die. And most people telling you this are alive. So nobody really truly knows until that day happens. And hopefully it doesn't happen for a long time for every single one of us here.
Absolutely. And, it goes back to what we were saying. This, in the paranormal field, we're full of theories. We're full of a lot of other things, but we're full of theories. And, who's to say who's right and who's wrong? But
that's it.
To me, that question has already been answered. Is there life after death? No shit. Otherwise, again, who are we talking to?
Exactly. How is the energy there?
Yeah. What happens? And I get a lot of people come after me sometimes for saying that. There is life after death. Well, a lot of people have said, well, how can you say that? Well, okay, let's look at a scientific fact. Energy cannot be destroyed. Science has proven that numerous times. What is the spirit? What is a person? Who is a person? Like, let's look at it. We're electrical impulses. We're energy. Everything that makes us is energy. So that being said, if the body dies, what happens to that energy? It doesn't get destroyed, and it's got to go somewhere. Now, where is it going?
Exactly. Now, were you always just maybe like myself, or just were into this kind of stuff? Or did you have something that unfortunately happened to you that made you want to look into this even further?
Well, growing up in central Pennsylvania, we're a very, very thick Christian area. So the paranormal was very taboo. It's something that I think people were aware of, but back in those days, and I'm sure Eric, it wasn't mainstream. The shows weren't out. TV didn't show that stuff like that, and it was just kind of, you keep it under your head. If you had an experience, you keep it under your hat. I did have an experience when I was about 16. I used to go see my mom when before she retired at her job. and I was leaving there after school, and I had an old '87 Chevy Caprice Classic. If you know cars, you know that's a big ass boat. It does not stop on a dime. It doesn't turn on a dime. It goes forward. Well, I was driving and my phone went off, and this is the old Nokia, nuclear war survivor phones that you couldn't break the damn thing. It went off. I looked down for a second, looked back up, and there was a woman standing on the road about maybe 50 yards or so in front of me. I slammed on the brakes and watched this woman pass straight through the car. Once the car stopped, I got out and I said, "Ma'am, are you?" And just kind of stopped and realized what happened. She turned, looked at me, and vanished. I got back in my vehicle, went nope, and drove off. And I just left it at that. I kept it under my hat.
Here's a person. Somebody just wrote, Noodle Live wrote, I definitely witnessed something as a young child. I don't believe it was nice. It was demonic.
Very possible. Very possible, Noodles. A lot of people say that. You're not alone on that one.
And it's hard to know for a fact, right? There's not like a blood test you could do for an energy to determine if it was a demonic or just an evil person. Because like the girls from the other channel, like I was saying, they're telling me that from Full Moon Paranormal that they went on investigation, and at first they kind of thought it was maybe a demon, but finding out the person who died was just an evil, bad person.
Yeah.
And it was trying to mock like it wasn't that person. It was like pretending it was a demonic, but finding out it was really just a bad person. And I'm like, yeah, that would be hard to know because there's no test, there's no book, there's no machine that would say ghost, demon. You know what I mean? There's nothing like that. It's more of feeling.
Well, let me tell you, people, and this is just, again, my experience in my 20 years of doing this.
And that's why we're here talking.
If it's a demonic, you will not know until it's too late. It will never say, I'm a demon. No, it doesn't do that. I don't care if it's a low-level, brute demonic, a mid-level, whatever. It will not show itself until it's too late because that's what they do. They will get into your home, infest, and they will tear you down and tear your family down slowly. Again, they're not going to sit there and say, I am a demon. No, because here's the thing. There's two things that demonics are deathly afraid of. Number one, and most importantly, is acknowledgement. If you know a demon's name, you have power over that demon.
Yes, I heard that.
Yeah, if you know its name, they're screwed. So if you don't want somebody to know who you are, what do? You hide. You slowly attack them, and you take it very, very slow. You do not sit there and say, I'm here, I'm going to... No. You do it very slowly, very methodical. Even a low-level brute, which is the most aggressive types, you're talking months, years worth of torture. And when I say torture, I'm not saying like, poltergeist type stuff. They will break your family down. They will break you down mentally, physically, emotionally, all of it. They're not, if you have a spirit in your home that is saying, I am a demon, bullshit. I will call the bullshit flag every time.
What's neat about our conversations, because tonight, myself, my daughter, we're going to go watch The First Omen tonight. The movie. It's $5 movie night at the theater. So we're going to see The First Omen.
Heck yeah.
Let me ask you this. Like you talked about earlier, like now TV, there's so many different paranormal channels and shows. And people always ask me like, Eric, what do you got against Ghost Adventures? Why are you always like mad at Zach and stuff? And I always say, because listen, guys, I always say, when I first got into the cable business, when I first threw a 32-foot ladder on a pole, my heart was pumping like a mother. I mean, when I was up there, I was afraid of that heights, but after a while, it was nothing.
Yep.
And you watch the show 26 seasons later, he's still walking down to get a tap, and he's running out. And I said, an exaggeration can be another form of lying.
Yep.
Because when you can exaggerate to the point to make you think something is ghost or spirit when all it was maybe something fell on top of you, drop on it. When you scream and run, you're faking it to the point where you're making people make assumptions of what it really is, and it's not. That's another form of lying.
Yeah.
Now, in the beginning, I'm not saying they weren't real. They're real investigators, but they got to a point where everything is so much about ratings and looking good that they have to show something. So now, any little touch, even a pretend scratch, they're exaggerated to the point to make you believe that something happened when it didn't. That's the part I have a problem with. Now, then I did a show on a comparison between Ghost Adventures versus Ghost Hunters. Not saying ones are better than the other, but Ghost Hunter is a lot more boring than Ghost Adventures because the music, because the average paranormal investigation, no offense, is boring. It's quiet, it's dark, you're listening, you don't got the music. It's not exciting when you're out. Now, it's exciting for the individual person that's there, but people watching you, it's not exciting for them. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying?
Eric, I think you and I, this is the start of a really good friendship. So a couple of things. Zach and his show are a hot button for me. Are an absolute hot button.
Like you said there, this guy's been possessed more times than Captain Picard got captured by aliens.
You're not wrong. So let me first start out. I have the first couple seasons of Ghost Hunters on DVD. I use them as training for new investigators. I look at it more of a educational purpose, not an entertainment.
No, I agree. I agree with that.
And I love it. I love them. I had the unfortunate chance to meet Zach. I hate him. I still have this challenge. I'll investigate him any day, any place, anytime with just a flashlight and my phone. He can have whatever piece of equipment he wants. I will out investigate him. He did the Cosmopolitan Hotel in Old Town San Diego in the Casa Dia studio. My team and I were there 2 weeks prior to them being there. The amount of disrespect he gave, not just the spirits, but the employees and the owners of the Cosmopolitan Hotel, he treated them like slaves. He treated them with absolute shit. I have zero respect for him or anything he does. I get that he has to make the show entertaining. I get ratings. I 100% get that. What I hate about him and a lot of these other shows, if you're going to be entertaining, that is fine. You want to be in the paranormal field and you want to be entertaining to get ratings and to make a living, God bless you. Good luck. Have something in your show that says for entertainment purposes only.
Yes.
They are giving a very bad spin on the paranormal field. They are scaring people. They are lying about what we do and how we do things. And they are not saying that it is for entertainment what they are doing.
Nope.
I know people.
Correct.
I know people personally who have investigated Bobby Mackey's, and that doorway or gateway to hell that he found is bullshit. Not just did they not find that, but the spirits themselves at Bobby Mackey's have said there's no gateway to hell here.
But it sounds good.
It does. And that's fine. If they want to do it for entertainment, God bless them, have fun with it. Just say for entertainment only. I would have no problems if they would do that. My problem is these idiots are going out there and treating each investigation like it's going to be their last. And he's going in, tormenting these spirits, treating the spirits like crap, treating the people like crap. And he can't have the common decency or the balls to stand there himself. And he wants to run away and use everybody else. No, grow up. Quit being a drama queen. Now, as far as ghost hunters, absolutely, they are a little bit more boring, but to me, they're a little more legit. Do they have to, twist some things for ratings? 100%. I get that.
It's more realistic. It's more realistic.
Yeah. Like I mentioned Brian John Laverty, who runs Parapost Network. Him and I had the privilege to do a show called Women Investigate 2, where we had Satori Haas and Cherie Marie from Ghost Hunters on the show, and we got a chance to speak with them. And one thing that to this day still stands out is Satori Haas flat out said, you're looking at an investigation, just one place, for 30 minutes, maybe even an hour. That is what you're seeing on TV. What you're not seeing is the fact that they were there for a week or two, collecting evidence, collecting things. And if nothing happens, nothing happens. They have to make it some sort of realistic. They have to have some sort of, rating system, which is fine. But she flat out admitted that. So you're looking at all this stuff, and it may look extremely haunted, but they're catching this stuff over a week or two, period. They're recording this. So, yeah, if you're going to a location like a Waverly Hills Sanatorium for a week or two, yeah, you're going to have a lot of evidence. Yeah, you're going to have a lot of different things happen to you, or maybe you don't. But, this is the fact that they're able to have the balls and the, respect to say, no, this is what's actually happening. To me, hats off to them.
I agree. That's a problem with a lot of shows. Like every single time I see a video of somebody going out to Queen Mary, they're always captured these amazing things, and I'm like, I'm there. I captured nothing.
Yeah,
and that's fine. I mean, that's just the way it is, and I'm not going to exaggerate or lie just because I want more clicks and views.
Well, no, and
you're
here's
not
the
helping
thing.
nobody.
Well, here's the thing, Eric, and I think you and I can both agree on this one, and I hope everybody in chat would agree with this. Even doing your podcast, even doing your shows, even if, whatever you do.
You have business cards?
I sadly don't. I ran out, and I even still have to update it. I'll tell you what, I hope I'm saying your name right, Daniela. I'm going to put my YouTube in chat for you.
It's in the description.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay, cool.
Oh yeah, it's already there.
Thank you.
They all know that. I always put it in the description. And Danny Staton, he's my link guy. He's put yours in the link too.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Appreciate that. But here's the thing: if you're going to be in front of a camera, be entertaining. Don't lie. I'm not saying lie or exaggerate or fake evidence. I'm saying be entertaining. If you are taking that opportunity and you're doing something in front of a camera, be yourself, but be entertaining. Don't lie about what we are doing. Like, we went to Pennhurst for the Global Ghost Hunt. And if you don't know what that is, definitely go check that out. It's a lot of fun. But we went to Pennhurst for the Global Ghost Hunt, and we had a blast. We were entertained. We had to, we're ourselves. My wife and I were ourselves. We had fun with it. It was a great investigation. But did we catch, Mr. Big Bad Spirit? No, we didn't get a lot of evidence. But it was still fun. It was still entertaining. And, that's one thing as a podcast host, whatever you want to call it, or even being in the paranormal field and recording this stuff, you've got to be entertaining. But be yourself. Don't lie. Once you lie, you're just making a bad reputation for the rest of us.
Thank you, Danny. See, Danny's the man. You ever heard of the it's a town called Cortland, New York. That's where my wife's family is, and there's supposed to be the famous 1890 house that's haunted. Ghost Hunters was there before. And all that. And I'm going back up to New York sometime in the summer. I don't know when. My brother-in-law is trying to get me permission from the because we have family members that is on the historic board up there.
Ooh.
To let us have the whole place to ourselves at nighttime to the morning. And if that happens, you're from Pennsylvania. I'm inviting like the ladies from the Full Moon Paranormal, some other people. If I get the place, I'll send an invite for you too. More the merrier.
I'd appreciate it. Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. See, that's one thing I love about starting the consultancy. And that's one thing that I think my goal really has helped out is ever since I got away from the team setting and I've started doing the consultancy, I've met a lot of amazing individuals like yourself and your chat, and even like my Parapost family and Global Ghost Hunt family and everybody. you know, and I've gotten to do so many amazing things and meet so many amazing people. And that's one thing I love. You know, a lot of people say para-unity is dead. I call bullshit. You know, a lot of people hate the term para-unity because they say it will never work. I say BS to that because it is working. And these shows are 100% proof of that. You know, I got to go to I got to go to the USS North Carolina with a great group, Jonathan Myers from Crossover Paranormal Society. He invited me to the USS North Carolina. I had a freaking blast with it. He's a great guy, great team. I've met a lot of amazing people. I forget who it was, but somebody mentioned PDX Paranormal. Noodles, I think, said that. PDX from Oregon, Emmy. She's a great person. I like Emmy. I've met a lot of amazing people, and that's one thing I love about this field.
How do you? I know we went past an hour. You know, we'll go just a tiny bit longer. You know,
that's a really.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Conversations fly. You know, when you have a good time.
I missed this.
What's your opinion? Should we move to America? Of course, move to America.
100%.
Now the question is, OGG. What part of America? Because you got East Coast, you got West Coast, you got Midwest. There's so many different places. And let me tell you, OGG, I was born in Fresno, California. I live in Seattle, Washington. I lived in Maryland. I lived in New Jersey, even New York because of my wife's family. I live all over the United States. So, and let me tell you, they're all different.
Yeah.
They're all different atmosphere.
Oh, yeah.
If I took my kids back to where I grew up in Fresno, California, they want to understand the hot desert kind of a setting. But how do you feel, Matt, with people who say they have like abilities? Like I'm not saying they're real or not. I have a lot of people who come up that I believe that they have somewhat of ability. You believe that some people can have an ability to feel more spirits than maybe an average person can?
100%. 100%. I know some people. I mean, I think the term is being used, or the claim is being used very frequently.
Don't move to Montana. We are full. I love that.
I mean, I think it's overused. I think a lot of people say they have gifts and abilities, and maybe they do. But to me, it all comes down to validation. Can you be validated? You know, I mean, if you sit there and say, I feel a female over in the corner here hanging out, but you catch nothing but male EVPs all night, kind of hard to validate that one. But I do feel that people do have different gifts and abilities, 100%. But
you're right.
Can they be validated?
There are some people that does kind of give enough of proof that you know that there's no way nobody else will know this. Yeah.
And I'm not saying that these people that aren't validated aren't real. They don't have the ability.
I'm just saying, there's a lot that aren't, and they are lying. There are hoaxers. We know that.
I mean, look at I'm really aging myself here. What's her name? The Jamaican woman, the Miss Cleo. Remember Miss Cleo from the TV commercials? If she's that much of a psychic, she should be calling the people. If she's got those abilities, she knows. Right. She already knows who's going to be calling. Why didn't she call them? You know, or. John
Isn't there a New York woman that says she could talk to the dead?
Long Island Medium.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that she's not legit. I'm not saying that anybody's not legit, but
Mama said, ooh.
But to me, I don't know. I know some people do have the gifts and the abilities, but they're like another Zach.
And you know what I mean? Do you think it's possible for some people to learn this? Because they tell me, Eric, you can't learn it. And I'm not saying I can't learn it. I've tried and I'm not able to. But do you think people can learn?
100%.
Feel
100%. We're only using.
I know you and I talked about it before. Our biggest problem is getting our minds clear.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we all have the ability to, because we've only unlocked a certain percentage of the human brain. Like we barely even know what our own minds and bodies are really capable of. And, you know, who's to say that maybe this enlightenment isn't just that? You know, I think we all can But just like with anything else, it takes practice and dedication, and you just need to find what works for you.
Exactly.
Just like in the paranormal field, or even with Bigfoot or cryptids, it's whatever calls to you, whatever you feel comfortable with doing. Everybody can do it. It's just, do you have the right mentality to do it?
You just, and you just got to find the right training technique that works for you. Just like on Thursday, the full moon paranormal saying that, take 2 minutes out of a day, every day, just maybe 2 minute a minute, try to clear your mind, do it more and more and more,
Yeah,
develop that muscle. Then eventually you will be able to clear your minds more often.
100%, 100%.
And and in a weird, strange way, you and I were talking beforehand. Like I'm not embarrassed to tell people that I've been going to mental health classes to teach me to deal with issues, anxiety, or whatever it is, PTSD. And a lot of the training is trying to teach you on clearing the mind. So it's almost like it's for everything, clearing your mind for ghosts, spirits, hunting Bigfoot, alien. You know what I mean? It's almost like it's all interconnected in a weird, strange way.
Well, I mean, you talk about medicine. I got mine right here. I just came home from surgery. I've been dealing with a lot mentally. Right now, is it the right time for me to go out and meditate? Probably not, because I've got a lot on my mind. And that's why I love doing these shows. And I did my own podcast because this was therapy for me. I enjoyed doing these shows. I had fun doing these shows. And like I said, this was, an honor and a privilege. And, it was just the perfect time that you invited me up here, because I was debating when is the right time for me to come back on these shows. Do I still have it? Do I still have the passion for it? Do I still enjoy it? And the answer is yes.
It's funny with all of that, because people ask me, Eric, why you still do it? Because for me, this is my medication. This is my time where I can relax from the world, and I'm just talking to everybody. This actually helps me in so many different ways. I know it's weird, but it does.
Yeah. 100%. And that's the thing. Like, I'm a huge advocate for mental health. I have always told people my door is always open. If anybody has any issues, they need to vent, they need to talk, reach out. I will always be there to listen. And I don't charge anything for anything I do. And the reason for that is because we in the paranormal field, think about it, we deal with death every time we investigate. When we start talking about the paranormal, we're dealing with death. That is something that a lot of people have problems with. That is one of the biggest things. And to me, the paranormal has put a different spin on death. It is not the end to end all. Yeah, the body is not there, but there's something after that will happen. So to me, it's taken that sting away. And in a sense, I'm jealous of the dead and those who have moved on. Not to the point where I'm, going to do anything about it, because that is, to me, that is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. I'm just going to say that right now. But
I know exactly what you're talking about.
but yeah, it's not a goodbye. It's, I will see you soon. I will see you again. And to me, it's a little more comforting. So now when a family member or a loved one passes on, it's, you motherfucker. You have the answer I'm looking for. Tell me, come back. Tell me what actually happens. Give me a cheat code. But
so now you said that you are like now kind of like slowly like coming back. Are you planning to start doing a little bit more stuff again back on your channel anytime soon, or?
Well, I am. And actually this is a little insight, so you guys get the sneak peek, if you will. You get the exclusive. There you go. So before I left, I started doing a gaming thing, just a paranormal gaming, and actually it's right there. That was the logo for it. I did some gaming channels. I did Phasmophobia with a group of people that I absolutely love. It's a great group of people. I've done a couple of different games. I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to kind of wean myself back into it slowly, do some gaming. just have some fun, just to hang out, chill. But I am going to be doing my podcast. I'm going to be bringing that back. I don't know what exactly I'll be doing with it, but it will be back. And I think if anything, it's going to be just like it was in the past, where it's open to everybody and anybody, whoever wants to be on it. It's open forum, open format, talk about anything and anything we want. No pressure, just hang out, talk paranormal, talk, cryptids, talk UFOs, Bigfoot, whatever everybody wants to. You want to come on, talk about fishing? Let's go. I fish. I love fishing.
Yeah,
Let's talk fishing.
if you do ever want like a guest and stuff, like you want me to like jump on for a show too, I can do that too. There's a lot.
I think you and I could sit here for hours. I think you and I would have a lot of fun together.
Because there's so much we're just scratching the surface and all that. And so that's awesome. So guys, subscribe to his channel. Get ready. So when he does come back, you gotta be part of it. And as soon as I know you're doing like your first show, you can even message me, say, Eric, I'm starting back a show on Tuesday, and I could put it on my community bar so people know, hey, Matt's going to do a show. So, that's what we do here, and all that. So what's going on with me, guys, is, let me see here. Like this morning, people, I'll be doing this tomorrow too. This morning on TikTok around 9 a.m. Pacific time, I'm basically going almost live on it almost every single day, Monday to Friday, around 9 a.m. I go walking around where the the Mary Island UFO incident has happened by the waterfall. So if you guys want to see me walking around and talking, catching out of breath, come join me on TikTok during those days. And of course, Thursday, I have a show. I have a paranormal group. They're called Insane Asylum. Never talked to them before, so that'll be fun. And guys, again, like Matt was saying, we're all one community, and we're all here to learn. Everybody has different techniques, and that's what's fun about listening to everybody. What do they do? What do they believe in? I mean, only thing to me, it helps, right? I mean, it helps you grow, because nobody knows it all, and there's no way nobody knows it all. Nobody really has the right answer on what brings out a ghost. Sometimes I do believe that it is being at the right place at the right time sometimes. And I think one of the most important things that a lot of people don't talk about, you talk about, is having the right attitude. Like you're saying, Zach yells at the ghost. You guys see my video at the Black Diamond, I always say, hey, we're just here to talk. I'm nice. Let them know that we're here as friends to talk. Don't be afraid of us. And that's kind of a community that we're all trying to do, is being polite is going to get you more than being a jerk.
100%. 100%. And Carla, both, I would say. I play video games for sometimes the truth of it, and just mainly, though, for the fun. I just like to hang out. My podcast, my gaming podcast, are just basically a hangout, fun, relax. Just hanging out.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. That's what the funnest thing in the world is to do. So again, everybody, I want to thank Matt, Paranormal Consultant, for coming on here. Like I said, I love meeting new people. I mean, this is the best gift you can have on YouTube, is meeting new people out there.
100%. Hey, before we go, Eric, do you mind if I give a shout out real quick, please?
Go for it.
So if anybody is looking for more, like yourself, Eric, more guests or more shows and more people to network with, seriously go check out Parapost Network. You can find them on Facebook, parapost.net. They have an app as well. There are a lot of amazing individuals and a lot of great people on Parapost Network. And
what are they called again?
Parapost Network. It's actually right here is the logo on my thing. You can find them on Facebook. You can find them on Facebook under Parapost Network, or you can go to your Android or iPhone app store that just is Parapost. And it's basically a paranormal Facebook. No drama, no BS. You can network with a lot of other people, and they're great people. And on Facebook, there is a lot of amazing podcasts and podcasts out there with great hosts, great people. So definitely, guys, go check them out. And also the Global Ghost Hunt. You can go to globalghosthunt.com. what it is basically a 10-day, well, 2 10-day celebrations of the paranormal community. Anybody is welcome to join. And it is, we talked about, seeing the entertainment side of the paranormal. Well, this is real investigations, real investigators going out and investigating. And it's teams like you and me who need to be, who need to be seen in these great locations. It's just a big celebration of people, and it's a lot of fun. And again, it's no drama, no BS, and they're great people, amazing people.
Can't beat that. And people, can you guys read this? Everybody in the chat, great show. Hit thumbs up, leave a comment, share out. All right? Because my last show on Friday, not one person left a comment. And we talked about good about science and blood. Come on. Come on. You guys didn't like talking about blood? Are you willing to give blood for science? Was that did nobody like that?
I would.
No.
I would.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah,
I've got a tap right now.
Science.
I've got a direct line. I showed you earlier, Eric. I got literally a tap right now.
That's awesome. Well, guys, we're gonna end the show. I think today we'll end the show. Since we had a great time, we're gonna end the show with Howard the Duck intro. All right, guys, we'll see you next time.